Alright, what's going on, guys? So today we got something a little unexpected to talk about. I think that's the word for it, because in all my years of playing Dark Souls and From Software games, this is probably the last thing I think would ever happen to one of their games. You might have seen the title and thumbnail by now, but it looks like Demon Souls is going to be getting a movie adaptation. No, I'm not making that up, and no, that is not an early April Fool's joke. This is real information coming from a credible leaker inside the movie industry and close with Sony. So while this is not official information from Sony themselves, it does look like there is some merit to what they're saying. But let's go through this article real quick and I'll give my thoughts and opinions on it after we finish it. So this is coming from sunriseread.com. They said Demon Souls, a movie coming from Sony, the rumor that makes fans dream. Well, I don't know how good that dream's gonna be, but it says a few hours after the first image of the new Resident Evil film and the first details on the TV series of The Last of Us, we return to talk about film adaptations taken from famous video game franchises, and the name that circulates on the net will make fans go crazy. According to a report published in Giant Freaking Robot, the brutal and acclaimed RPG Demon Souls could soon become a movie. It is assumed that the project will be a rather important production for Sony Pictures, which would come as no surprise considering the video game's popularity, which has recently made a comeback thanks to an acclaimed remake for PS5. The report, however, is nothing short of vague, and for the avoidance of doubt, it would be better to consider it for the moment only as a conjecture. However, it is undeniable that the world of Demon Souls has on its side several amazing scenarios and demonic monsters, which would certainly be ideal for the big screen. Well, the idea of that is certainly a shock. It's definitely not something I expected to cover anytime soon. If we look at the track record of video game movies, there are very few successes in this industry. And honestly, off the top of my head, I can't really think of one that was a very good movie adaptation of a video game. So the idea of a very beloved game like Demon Souls getting a movie adaptation kind of leaves a sour taste in a lot of fans' mouths. A lot of these video game movies have just completely tarnished the stories of the games they're based on and been horrible movies overall. I remember when the original Mario movie came out for the first time. I was very excited for that movie because I was a big Mario fan and I had no idea what atrocity I was about to watch. That movie was so bad that even at a young age, I really understood how bad it was. Now, this might be a hot take, but even with the track record of horrible video game movies completely plaguing this industry, I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing. I do think there very well is a possibility that this could be a good movie. However, it's going to be a very narrow path that they're able to follow if they want this movie to succeed and make the fans happy. When it comes to good movies, typically the thing that sells the movie the most are the characters, more specifically the main character. But if we look at a game like Demon Souls, there isn't really a main character. Our hero in Demon Souls is more of a blank slate than it is a character. It's whatever the player wishes it to be. The only thing that really remains consistent between all players playing the game is the world and the plot. So in order to make a good movie that follows the plot of Demon Souls, we're gonna have to go a different route than a traditional protagonist or main character. And I think there's a really big opportunity for this. So if the director wants to keep the world and the plot of Demon Souls the same, then they should go with a silent protagonist movie. You see, the charm of the Souls games isn't found in a certain character. It's found in the dreadful nature of the world, in the grotesque form of the enemies and the creatures that inhabit it, and the intricate psychology of some of the side characters. So in order to make a good Souls movie, you have to capture all those things while still keeping the audience engaged. Now, it's entirely possible for the director to introduce something new, but it still has to follow those same guidelines. There's plenty of unexplored lore inside this game that could be used for a movie, so let's speculate a bit. So I think personally the best option for an antagonist of this movie would definitely be King Allant. He has a really cool story and it would be very interesting to see the psychology behind what drove him to do the things he did. And the story of Demon Souls, more so than Dark Souls, is cinematic in nature. It does follow a linear storyline that could be translated to the big screen. So let's think about this for a minute. The story could follow our main character waking up in the Nexus and finding all these characters alongside him that explain the world and what's going on, just as we do in the game. Now, there's plenty of NPCs throughout the game that could bring that human element into it and kind of engage the viewers in a way that a silent protagonist would lack. For example, let's think about another popular show that uses the similar silent protagonist lead, The Mandalorian. If we look at this show, we'll notice that the Mandalorian doesn't actually talk that much. It's the other characters in the world around him that bring that element to the stage. And even without words, the Mandalorian himself communicates plenty through his actions and body language, to a point where words aren't really needed. So I think the Demon Souls movie needs to take plenty of inspiration from that show. Now, if we're gonna go with the Archstone plot, I think it needs to be done in a different way. Perhaps besides going through 4 different Archstones and fighting 4 different Archdemons, maybe we could focus on a sole antagonist throughout the movie, and focus on beating certain enemies along the path to reach him. Maybe the entire movie just revolves around the first Archstone. And perhaps our main character could team up with a Strava, who could provide good comic relief and that human element to it that a silent protagonist wouldn't reach. And we know that Estrava already has a connection to King Allant, so that would be a good plot point to explore in the movie. Now, I know this video has been pretty unstructured, but I think there's plenty of stuff there to make a good Demon Souls movie that would please the fans and just be an entertaining movie all on its own. Now, the reason this movie would be Demon Souls and not Dark Souls is simply because Sony has the IP for Demon Souls and not Dark Souls. And like I said before, I think that would work better because Demon Souls has a much more linear storyline than Dark Souls does, that I think would translate better into a movie format. Now, like I said before, we don't have any official information if this is really going to be a real thing. Until we hear from Sony themselves, this is all just speculation. But the leaker apparently is credible and he has predicted other things involved in Sony's movies specifically. So this very well could be a real thing. Now, I'm gonna be brutally honest here. Do I think this is gonna happen? Probably not. What's likely going on here is that the idea has been pitched and it may or may not have already been greenlit. We probably don't have any actors set up. We probably don't have any filming done. We may not even have a director at this point. So honestly, I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon, if at all. And again, to be brutally honest, I don't think they would do this game justice at all. Especially if it's some kind of newbie director. It would just have to be somebody who's so passionate about these games and knows what to capture to make it proper. And in reality, I don't see that happening, but I would love to be proved wrong. Honestly, I don't think video game movies are a bad idea. I'm all for them if they can be done correctly. I just think overall we have yet to see a proper movie adaptation for a video game, but I think the day will come when we actually see some good video game movie adaptations. Man, but like I said before, this was not the title of an article I was expecting to wake up and read this morning. But hey, we'll see. Anyways guys, that's gonna pretty much do it for the video. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already to stay up to date with all the latest From Software news and for some other cool Souls videos that I think you'll enjoy. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.